This car needs no introduction, especially if in the air-cooled world. But I just want to talk to you about it very, very quickly about what we've done. So, 993 C2S, and for you that don't know, a factory C2S on the rear spoiler is denoted by these split vents on the back. There's one and there's two, obviously. This car has been laid up for nearly 9 years, and we got the lucky job of actually going with the customer to collect it and to recommission it. One of the things we've had to do is do an engine rebuild on it. It had a lot of oil leaks. That was the main culprit for the rebuild. But on the strip down, we found the bottom end of crankshells were on their last leg. So actually, wouldn't have been many more thousand miles before they would have failed. So it was a really lucky rebuild. Sympathetic rebuild, haven't gone silly. So it's not been ice blast and everything's not been clean. It's not been painted. It's just been how it left the factory. We obviously go right through it, strip it, check it, measure it, rebuild cylinder heads and everything like that. So part of the services we offer is full engine rebuilds on all models of 911s. But once we've done the rebuild, the best part is extended road test. This has already had some mileage, and before we hand it back to our customer, we would do a further oil filter and engine oil change. So when we give it back to our customer, we know any oil that's got swarf or anything in it from the running is gone. But there's no real hardship to do an extended road test. So I think, without further ado, it's time that I take this car for a drive and check it out for myself. Well, let's head off for a quick road test on this 993. I'm always torn between the 993 and the 964, which one I prefer more. They, even though they're very similar, a bit of an oxymoron, they're very different. And I can never decide, and I don't think there's a right or wrong answer either. The 964, probably a slightly more aggressive, harder car, air-cooled 911, whereas I think the 993 took the engineering from the 964 and just advanced it to that next level, which certainly you can see in the way they drive, the way they perform. Don't get me wrong, they're no slouch, they're not a slow car, but they do seem that little bit more refined. And I think if you ask me the question, which one would I buy personally, I think naturally I'd probably fall to a 964. But I do think that's because I've owned several 964s and actually never owned a 993 myself, which I'm finding that quite surprising now thinking about it. But I do think I'd be torn. I don't know, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think it's just down to preference. But anyway, very quickly, going back to why I'm driving it. We've obviously rebuilt the engine in this, and it's done 94 miles since the rebuild now. We normally cover down 100 miles there or thereabouts before we do our second oil change with a new filter and our final checks and everything before we hand over to the customer. We do have quite a rigid running in period as well with the customer that we want the car back within 1,000 miles to get another oil change, etc., and do more checks. But we do a lot of air-cooled and water-cooled engine builds, so if you do have a requirement for an air-cooled or a water-cooled engine rebuild, would be only too interested to hear from you. We're averaging 2 engine builds a month these days, and that's a golden number for us. That's what we like, no more, no less. So we're always looking for engine builds if you have one of interest. But this is lovely. To give Shane, the technician that done this engine rebuild, the credit, it speaks for itself. It runs lovely, it runs smooth, just as you would expect from an engine that's been stripped, assessed and rebuilt with care and attention. And that's one of the biggest things when you're doing these, certainly on any engine build. The time is taken in the cleaning and making sure that it goes back together correctly and properly. Simple things go down to replacing the cylinder head studs on the crankcases and air-cooled engines, making sure that when they go back together the measurements are correct. They do all differ, and making sure they're right, because it will have an overall impact on the tightening of the torque on the head to the barrels if they're not done correctly. But what can I say? It drives lovely. Again, I'm proud to sign this off as one of our cars that we've built and help the owner recommission and put it back on the road. And what a worthwhile contender, a 993 Carrera 2S manual, which, as all your Porsche enthusiasts know, are getting much harder to find. So it's be a very nice day when we get to hand this back to the customer to go and enjoy it. And right time of year that the sun is on its way out, so it can be enjoyed lovely. But keep watching, we'll have more videos like this coming along and coming up in the future. Oh, that's funny.
Join me today underneath a 991 Carrera S .1. I'm going to talk a little bit today about undersealing and Lanoguard. So this customer today has come in for a full strip down of the underside and a Lanoguard to protect the underside of the vehicle after just purchasing it. So as you can see from the underside of the car, we have stripped down all of the wheel arches, all of the under trays and all of the covers to reveal all the underside of the car. We've gone through and inspected it and made sure that there's no bad patches of rust or surface corrosion. If there was any, we would address it and sort of treat it from there onwards. Although you could do this yourself at home, there are quite a lot of fixings. As you can see from the stack here, there are quite a few wheel arch liners, under trays, and obviously a load of fixings that come with it. Now with the fixings that come off the car, everyone that goes back on after the underseal, we put copper slip underneath the plastic nuts, and we'll put a bit of grease under the screws as well so they don't get seized in, so future repairs will be a bit easier for anything under the guards or under the trays. But seeing as this is a lovely low mileage car, only done 26,000 miles, we've just sort of Lanoguarded what we could. We've brushed off all of the dirt, all of the grit with a soft brush on a drill head, so it doesn't damage any of the already protected parts of the car that are already sealed in there. So as you can see, it's left a sort of a matte finish on the top here, but as you can see as well, it is thoroughly protected. It does take a little while to set, so we'd like to have the car for sort of 2 to 3 days. So we leave the trays off, leave it for 2 or 3 days to cure. The trays will go back on, all tidy and clean, and then ready to go out when it's all dry, ready to hit the winter roads.
Right, we bring you some information for those who have a Porsche Boxster Cayman GTS with a 4-litre engine. We've seen a couple of these now, and this is another one we've just finished. So this is a 21 plate 4-litre GTS. And I think this is the third one we've done now or something like that, that they suffer from oil pump failure. Now, one of the reasons we're doing the video is just to share our knowledge and information to avoid expensive engine rebuild costs. Now, if you're driving your, well, this relates to any car to be fair, but I'm specifically talking about this. If you're driving your 4-litre down the road and you get a low oil pressure warning light come on, turn the engine off, pull over and don't start the car again. The reason we say that, we've had 3 failures where the oil pump drive bolt that holds the gear to the pump that's run off the chain off the crank comes loose and falls out and the gear falls off and stops your oil pressure. Now if you turn it off as quickly as you can, you're going to save damage. and these are not cheap engines to rebuild. Luckily enough, the customer owned this car, was very diligent. The light came on, he pulled over. The car was recovered and it wasn't started again until we've now done the rebuild. Luckily enough, this particular engine got away quite lightly. So we didn't damage the crank or anything like that, but we have had to have new variators all round because 2 of them smashed and got completely damaged, new chains, new bottom end shells and everything, new oil pump drivers and stuff like that. Does seem to be a weak point, particularly on 21 and some early 22 cars. So it's worth keeping an eye on it and that preventive maintenance and making sure if that light does come on, just turn it off and don't start the car again. It is a costly rebuild, even at the cheaper end of it. They're a complicated engine. They're very, very highly strong engine to obviously give the BHP that these produce. It is a very big and involved job. So this is just done. It's about 120 mile shakedown drive now, and it's going back into the workshop this afternoon, tomorrow morning, to have its final checks. It will have another oil change, so that's a new oil, new filter to make sure any of the debris from the running in process of new parts is removed, and it'll be handed to the customer tomorrow. It will have a strict running in process now, and what I mean by that is we'll want to see the car back in 500 miles for a further service. We do diagnostic checks, and those diagnostic checks are not just checking everything's quickly all right on the diagnostics. We look at cam variation, what it's doing in relationship to where the engine's running, and make sure everything is on point. Then the customer will have it back, and then we'll want to see the car again in a few thousand miles, another oil change. At that point, we'll then happy to hand it over to the customer and go off and enjoy it. But again, if you've got one of these and you get a low oil pressure light on, turn it off and pull over and wait for the recovery. Don't try and restart it. You're only going to do more damage. If you have one and you've got any concerns and you just want some peace of mind, do feel free to pick up the phone, speak to us, and we can talk you over the engine and any of the problems it has. And if you need any information on it, let us know.